I just need to check the sound real quick. Yeah, it's working. All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Zen Master Sebastian Rizzon, founder of the Mind Light Way School of Zen, and I host these Dharma Talks on the third Thursday of every month and guided meditations on the first Thursday of every month from 7 to 8 p.m. And you can also find our curated content on the Mind Light Way School of Zen YouTube channel if you want to check any of these things out after the fact. It's really good to see you all here tonight. I want to start out by talking about something I find incredibly interesting about the mind. Every person you know, every place you've ever been, and every experience you've ever had, all of it exists somewhere in your mind. Thoughts appear, memories appear, and emotions appear in your mind. They come and go again and again. No matter what's in your mind, one thing remains constant. The mind never becomes heavier, and it never becomes larger or smaller. Its mass, volume, density never change. In other words, the mind contains everything that we experience, yet it has no measurable physical properties. The brain is a physical organ that can be measured. Scientists observe electrical activity in the brain. They may even be able to correlate the brain activity with certain experiences, but what we actually experience in our mind is something completely subjective. The subjective experience of a thought, a memory, or a feeling is not something that you can weigh or measure. Sometimes the mind is full of thoughts. Sometimes it's clear. But in either case, the mind remains empty, meaning it has no inherent qualities of its own. So this leads to a simple question, but a difficult question. What is the mind? The mind always contains so many different things. Thoughts, ideas, memories, feelings, emotions. But what's holding all of these things? It's difficult to see what the mind actually is. It's essentially impossible to find the boundary between the mind and what's in the mind. So in Zen we say, first clear out the mind until it becomes completely empty. Then you can know what it is. That's why we use meditation techniques. The rest of tonight's talk will be about the mind, but before we talk about it more, let's do a little bit of meditation to clear out the mind so that you can have some direct experience of it yourself. First, let's take a moment to prepare for the meditation. When we sit in meditation, we typically sit with our legs crossed. Try to keep your neck and back straight, but relax your shoulders. You can have your hands in the mudra position, which is right hand, left hand, touching thumbs. This is a typical, centered in your lap, typical Zen sitting position. You can modify any of these positions if they get uncomfortable for you, or if you get really uncomfortable during the meditation, feel free to stand up and stretch out. Just try to be mindful of the people sitting around you. And with that said, we'll just begin with a breathing technique to prepare ourselves for meditation. So start by breathing a little bit slower and a little bit deeper than you usually do. Bring your attention to the center of your chest. Visualize your heart there as you breathe. As you listen to my voice, continue to slow and deepen your breath. Feel your breath coming in through your nose and mouth, collecting all of the energy from your head and guiding it down into your heart. Imagine now that you're breathing with your heart. You can place your hand on your chest and on your heart and close your eyes if you'd like. Keep breathing slow, deep, and steady. The purpose of this practice is to align your mind, heart, and body. This is a technique you can use to reset yourself whenever you feel anxious, scattered, or when you need to shift to one activity from one activity to another. If you practice this technique regularly, you can reset yourself in any moment by taking some slow and deep breaths. So let's practice together now for a few minutes. For our next meditation, we'll focus the mind on a mantra. A mantra is the focal point of meditation. The word literally means a tool to liberate the mind. We use the mantra to steady our attention and free the mind from its usual stream of thoughts and reactions. If you try to stop thinking, thoughts will inevitably arise. In meditation, we use the mantra to center the mind on one point, so wandering thoughts have nowhere else to settle. If thoughts arise, don't fixate on them. Just let them go and return to the mantra. For tonight's meditation, we'll be using a koan as a mantra. Koans are statements, questions, stories that point directly to experience beyond words or concepts. They aren't asking for intellectual answers. They demand direct knowing beyond words. For this meditation, we'll close our eyes and focus on a short, essential koan It cuts straight to the heart of being. Tonight's koan is very simple. What is the mind? As you meditate, don't try to answer the question. Don't analyze it. Don't reflect. Just hold the question. Hold it steadily. This question is like a flame, burning through distractions and thoughts until you can experience the mind directly before it's divided by thought. Now let's sit quietly and hold this question in your mind. If a thought arises, just return to the one burning question. What is the mind? I'll hit the muktak to begin the meditation, and when we're finished. So did anyone have a direct experience of their mind? You can only see the mind directly when it becomes completely clear. But when you look, it's hard to find the mind. To look for the mind, you need to see beyond the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that appear and see what's holding them. In Zen, we call that direct experience, or seeing the mind, enlightenment. Enlightenment means seeing your true nature in every moment. Last month, I talked about clarity, awakening, and enlightenment. Tonight, I thought maybe I could talk about it more practically, using a metaphor. Think of enlightenment like your dream house, the ideal place you could imagine living in. So, how do we get there? In many ways, it's similar to building your dream house. When you first want to build a house, you need to envision what you want the house to be and why you want the house. Do you want stability? Do you want protection from the storms of life? You want it to embody some ideal form that you imagine. At first, it's just an idea in your mind. So the first step is clearing the ground for the house. It's kind of like leveling the ground before laying the foundation. Clearing the ground of your mind means getting your life in order. For a house, you need money, you need a job, you need resources. First, you need to get your life in order. This clears the ground for everything else that's coming. Also, getting your life in order organizes your mind at the same time. After this, the ground is ready for your dream house. Then you need to build a foundation. In Zen, the foundation is daily practice. Sitting and moving meditation. Sitting meditation is what we just practiced. And moving meditation means treating your actions like a mantra. You can practice this by really focusing on some activity you enjoy doing. It could be dancing, yoga, making art, or music. For me, I practice this by doing the martial art that my teacher taught me. To build a foundation, you need to practice sitting and moving meditation a little bit every day until it becomes a natural part of your day. Then you can learn eventually to treat all the work and activities you're doing as a meditation. The stability of the house depends entirely on the strength of the foundation. The stability of your mind is built on foundational practice. After some time working on the foundation, you're ready to start building the structure. When you're working, learn to keep your attention on the task at hand. Your mind becomes like the hammer, centering all of its energy on the head of each nail it touches. If you keep going like this, step by step, eventually you can finish the frame and the roof. This progress is an important step because now you feel like you have some shelter from the weather of the world. You still have a lot of work to do, but at least you can keep working even when the conditions are not so great. But a roof alone isn't enough. You still need to build the walls. So you continue building the structure, then the rooms. As each room is finished, you can live in it. In the same way you finish the rooms one by one, clarity in practice also develops in a progression. You may find clarity in one part of your life, and other parts still feel like they're under construction. At some point, even before the house is finished, you realize you can sit quietly in some rooms, no matter what the weather outside is doing. You begin to feel comfortable in the house. Honestly, many people stop here. They feel comfortable with what they've built. This is actually a very common stage in practice. People get comfortable with where they are, and they stop pursuing their dream house. But something still doesn't feel quite right. You may have a house with rooms and windows, but it's not finished. It's still not your dream house. And despite having a comfortable place to live, there's still some dissatisfaction. A lot of people get stuck here. They stop here and they stop building, and they just fixate on maintaining what they've built already. But there's always some underlying discontent, because deep down, they know it's not complete. And somewhere inside, they also realize that what they've built won't last forever, especially if the foundation isn't strong. If you don't have a foundation under the house, built through consistent, well-crafted work, then you've built a house of cards. Above the ground, it might look like a great house, but underneath there's nothing to support it. And it will fall down at the first major storm. But if you continue building on a strong foundation, something interesting happens. All of your actions to build the house begin to feel like a meditation. Finishing your dream house may take years. It requires focus. It requires attention to detail. It can be done, but it's not easy. When you finally finish your dream house, that's what we call awakening. Seeing what you originally envisioned come to life before your eyes. Maybe it's not exactly the house you imagined, but it's unmistakably your dream house. However, after an awakening, the world is still the same world. The storms and the nasty weather don't go away. So you still need to maintain the house. And if the foundation isn't strong, it's not going to last. If you don't keep up with the maintenance, it will fall apart. You still need to keep the grounds clear. You need to clean the house. You need all the tools that you developed along the way for maintenance. Not all the time, but certainly when the conditions of the world take a toll on the house. And the world will inevitably take its toll. In my own life, the world has continuously taken a toll. People I love have hurt me. People I love have died. I had a stroke 4 years ago. I nearly died. I was temporarily paralyzed. During this time, I lost nearly all of my material possessions. The tools of my Zen practice were what allowed me to repair myself and keep living. When you practice Zen, you begin to know immediately when something is breaking and what tools you need to use. Do you need to take action? If so, what's the right tool for the situation? Do you need a hammer, a screwdriver, or just a little touch-up paint? Or do you need to just take a break, step back, and meditate? Somehow, through your intuition, you know exactly what to do. Eventually, you can fix things as soon as they break. When you realize what's necessary in every moment and engage with it clearly and fully as it is, that is what we call getting enlightenment. When you live like this, no matter what happens, the house that you built always remains your dream house. It's the embodiment of your dreams in form. From the outside, people look at it and say, wow, that's an amazing house. Sometimes they even think enlightenment is the dream house because they only see it from the outside. But from inside, it looks completely different. You realize that inside the house, there are only empty rooms. Every room is empty, completely empty. Emptiness is the only thing inside the house. And when you experience this, you also recognize something else. The emptiness inside that house is the same as the emptiness outside of the house. The only thing separating you from everything else is an idea, a thought, that the house is somehow separate from the emptiness that contains it. That idea of separation is not much different from a dream, in that it only exists within the mind. As I pointed out at the beginning of this talk, no matter what you put in the mind is empty. Everything you know exists within the emptiness of your mind. And the mind is the house of your dreams. I hope you all come to live in the house of your dreams. So I always take question and answers at the end of these. So I definitely appreciate if anybody has any questions here or in the live chat, please drop them there or feel free to ask questions. I don't know if my metaphor was too out there for you, but I'm happy to clarify any questions you might have about the mind, about emptiness, about meditation, about your life. I love this part of class, so I'm sure if you have a question on your mind, someone else probably has it too. Any questions? Yes.
I'm a little still confused about the idea of emptiness, and I I do get the idea of the house and within the house it's complete emptiness, and outside of it it's also complete emptiness. Because I remember from studying Zen history, the idea is that once someone reaches enlightenment, they realize that everyone is enlightened in a way. So I do realize the consistency with this, but I don't get the idea of emptiness.
Okay. So the question is about emptiness, and what do I mean by emptiness? That's a great question. I'm glad you brought it up. I think it's inherently confusing because I think you have a pretty good conceptual understanding, but it's not a conceptual thing. So I'm going to turn the question back to you. What do you think I mean when I say emptiness?
I guess it's the lack of like pre-existing notions about things, like just seeing things for what they are.
That's very good. Very good answer. That it's the lack of pre-existing thoughts about something or notions of what they are. I'm repeating a little bit so people can hear if they're watching. So I think that is one way to say it for sure, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. And I'm going to repeat a little bit what I said in the beginning of class, because I think it might help. So when you put all these things in your mind, this whole talk, all of these ideas you have about emptiness, I guess, and I'm saying this because a lot of people I think say, sometimes they use the word nothing or nothingness too. I don't like to use that word. It's translated from a Sanskrit word. So you got to kind of pick what you want to say when you're trying to point to something. So this is a pointer. It's pointing you to something. What I'm trying to point you to is all of these things that you put in your mind that I was just rattling off, everything that shows up in your mind. Where is that? So many people will, go ahead, answer. If I want to hear if you have an answer.
Oh, I don't know if that's like a rhetorical question,
No, it's a literal question.
I think there's no physical space for like things in the mind, right? Where does the mind exist?
So there's no physical place. So that's, when I say empty, that's kind of what I'm talking about. There is no physical place. But also, everything physical, where does that exist?
Only through our perception.
I think that's a fair answer. I mean, so a lot of people, though, will say to me, I'm just going to talk about what other people say. I like your answers better, but I think it helps other people understand, the other side when people say, oh, they push back and they say, oh, well, your mind is in your brain, for instance, for the mind topic. But where in your brain? Like, take a brain scan, open your brain. I'm visualizing an apple right now. Scan my brain and tell me where the apple is. You can't do it. It's not the same thing. There might be some like lights and electricity, but it's not an apple. And the apple, I have the taste, I have the smell, I have the texture, I have this rich experience that I'm imagining. If I taste it, it's even more vivid. But where is that? Like, where is that experience? That's the mind, that place. That's what I'm pointing to. And it's all of those things. It's that the richness of tasting an apple, it's the smell of flowers. It's not nothing. It's everything, but it's also empty. So it's not, a lot of people also call it a void, but I think all of these descriptions fall short because it's everything and nothing. and it's empty. So that's what I'm pointing to when I say empty. And then a lot of people will say, well, you know, something about things being physical, or, you know, even like, oh, your brain it's just like electricity in your brain is making these consciousness magically. It's always like hand wave science, magic, no explanation. Because science deals in things you can measure, and you can't measure anything in the mind. You can measure things that correlate with things in the mind, but even your measurements are in your mind. And we might measure the same things in, you know, if you think both of our minds, we see the same measurement, but it's still in both of our minds. And I only know for sure it's in my mind. I have to just assume you're telling me the truth, that you see the same thing as me. But like, just take physical things, like peel off all of the things you can use to describe it. You get to like atoms, molecules, atoms, the particles that make up these atoms. Most of it is some form of energy, they say. It's like particular packets of energy. That's what a particle technically is. Where is, like, energy is just a measurement of something, right? You detect it and you measure it, but where, like, what actually is that? What is it inherently? Like, what is the essence of it? Just keep peeling back those layers. I challenge you, I challenge every scientist in the world to tell me these questions. If you can pin it down, I'll give you all the money I make in my lifetime. I'll tell you why. I know, because it's empty. All of these things, at the very core essence, if you peel back enough layers, there's nothing physical. Ask someone, like someone who knows more than I do about science. Ask them what matter is. Like, what is matter? They get down to like particles or wave fields. There's some like kind of amorphous thing that doesn't necessarily seem physical to me when you really pin them down. So what I'm pointing out is like that those things are real, but they're like concepts. They're maps of something else that don't really say there's something there, but they can only kind of describe it in the same way we're trying to describe these things that exist in our mind. Like you never really can get a complete description with concepts and words. And that's why I say it's empty. Because it's beyond all of those things. But it's not nothing, because it's everything too. And that's you know, I use the word mind as well. But that's another, just a pointer. I can say, I think mind is more relatable than empty, right? But the mind is empty. So I'm trying to point to the same thing from as many different sides as I can, but it's really hard to get there with words. But I promise you, if you can manage to completely clear out everything in your mind, you'll experience it and know exactly what I'm talking about. And you will see that thing I'm pointing to. It's not even a thing. I really am. I'm trapping myself with words. But you will understand it's part of you. It's part of everything and it's within everything, and it's empty. So if you just like think about, like this room, for instance. Most people think like the room is the container, but like this, I know it's like if you talk to a scientist, they're gonna say this is air, but like I'm using a metaphor here, but like the space that makes up everything, like the vast amount of this room that we're all sitting in, that's like the emptiness. And that space that runs through this room, it runs outside, it's out the window, it's in outer space. It's also in between every particle in our body. And all of those particles are just kind of like perturbations of that space, like the space folding in on itself. Don't take that too literally. I'm trying to make a metaphor to kind of like point to what I'm saying. Question?
Follow up. It's so interesting how many, an infinity of thoughts and ideas I can create in my mind. I can sit here and keep thinking and creating thoughts and ideas. I can keep looking around and creating experiences for myself. And they all happen in my mind. I can keep going like this with creating thoughts, and I can make myself cry with just thoughts. And I'm always I guess in wonder of how many things we create in our mind, and then we believe it to be reality without the distance to see it as our own creation in our own mind, like everything. And I guess it brings me, besides just sitting here and wondering about it, but to really, I think a core question, which is, what is the purpose of creating infinity of forms, thoughts, and experiences, and all of this? What's the purpose of having the ability to create an infinity of thoughts and forms in general, beyond thoughts and ideas? What is the purpose?
What is the purpose of being able to create so many thoughts?
Infinity of thoughts.
And then you're talking about specifically within your mind.
Within the mind, yeah.
So what is the purpose? This is a great question. It's very hard to answer. I'm not sure. I wouldn't describe it as what we would like a human. I think it manifests as a human. Inside humans, we want purpose. But I think that is an instinct to, I think it's as a human being, we have an instinct to understand what's possible, like what is possible, like what can all of the possibilities, what could be possible. We just want to understand, like, we have this, but what is possible? And I think it's just like, it's like an instinct that all humans have. It's like you want to create, you want to make, you want to procreate, you want to have babies. People have all forms of creative things that manifests inside of our mind and also in what we would perceive as the world in front of us. Like we're adding things to the world. we're bringing new ideas from our mind, making them take form in the world. This is creation. This is creative process. The mind is empty. It has no boundary. It's infinite, and it's eternal. That's just what it is. You can put everything you can possibly fit into your mind. It's still empty. It's still, you cannot find the bounds of it. You can't find the limit of time or space inside your mind. So what does it mean to be all of those things? All-encompassing. It's all-encompassing. It means you have to literally be all of those things and know what that is. And we're like a fractal version of that. Our minds are like us. Like, do you know what a fractal is? Where a pattern just repeats infinitely, no matter what scale you're at. So each of us, our mind is like that. So we're part of this infinite expression. And the only way you can be infinite is it can't stop. It has to always find what's possible. It has to turn what is potentially possible into what's possible. And that's all in our nature. So when I say you understand your nature, that's part of it. It's our creative nature.
So a follow-up note and question. When I talk with the people, I find that we all have a similar experience. And also we all have, I think coming back to the instinct, we all have an instinct to know ourselves. And we do a lot of things in order to know ourselves, like astrology or like meeting other people. In our interaction with other people, we get to know about ourselves. Even having a family, having a kid gets you to know more about yourself. Having work and then expanding your work, expanding your life, taking on new hobbies, being in a community, studying books, like all of these all of this is done with the instinct to get to know ourselves. And I feel like it's a little bit of an infinite process, because no matter how far you go, you know nothing.
Yeah, but you know more than you did before.
Yeah, you keep going.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm kind of pointing to, I guess, in some way. I think where, like knowing yourself is a component of just knowing. And I think that is like the instinct of mind, is to know. So I think we all carry that within ourselves. One of the primary drivers of us in our lives is to know. So it manifests as knowing yourselves, knowing your neighbors, knowing how to do your job. There's a lot of like different components of that, but really like I think in a certain, if I could say it to people, like where does this come from in an individual? I think you could quite probably accurately state that every individual's purpose here is to know themselves. Like when you ask what the purpose of life is, it's to know yourself and to know what your purpose is and to understand that completely. Like,
So would you add another component to it after knowing yourself and beyond knowing yourself and knowing life, to actually bring it back home and embodying the knowing in every action? Because you still live, like you still have life.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't. I think it's. I don't think there's. I don't think it's an end. I think it's a process. And I think you. What?
I just want to add, because I think there's all this talk about finding your purpose,
Yeah.
whereas I don't think anybody ever finds a purpose. I think you build a purpose. You create a purpose. You find maybe what works for you, but it's not like it's out there for you to somehow turn a corner and meet that one person who's going to be like, oh, this is your purpose, right? Like it is when you say it's a process, like it is a process because it's something that only you can figure out, only you can build. But again, it's not like you find your purpose. Like I've never known anybody who's like, oh yeah, I just found it. It's just lying down the street.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think I was kind of implying that a little bit, like maybe, but I think you said it much more directly and clearly. That yeah, you, and in a kind of way, I'm making it like I'm kind of cheating my answer, right? Because I'm saying your purpose is to know your purpose. But I think you're correct in that you never. Like I won't say. I think you can know though. So I don't know that it's like know your purpose, but you can know more. And that is kind of to know more about this vast, infinite mind that we all have. And understand your unique facet of it, your unique fractal version of it, the expression of your mind and what that looks like. I think that is what we're here to do. And I don't think it's like anybody can tell you what that is. I do think you hit the nail on the head that it comes from you. It only comes from you. And if you listen to other people, it will never feel exactly right.
Not that other people can't help.
They can help point. They can also point in the wrong directions. So, but the way I teach Zen, for instance, is the way I help people know this for themselves. I mean, all I'm saying, you would have to just believe me from listening to me to take it seriously. But I think what I'm saying when I teach Zen is you have to know this for yourself. And the way you know it is by clearing your mind, completely engaging with what you're doing, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a switch here because in the tradition I come from, mind and heart are the same word. So when you completely clear out your mind, your heart tells you what to do. That's how you know if someone really smart's giving you advice, whether to listen to them or not. Your heart will tell you that. They could be a lot smarter than you, or maybe you think they are, or whatever, and they're so successful, but if they tell you something, it doesn't feel right in your heart, it's probably not for you. Even though I'm sure they could be trying to give good advice. So how do you decide what's right for you, what's wrong for you, what to do in every moment with your own life? You have to learn to listen to your heart. And the less interference you have from overthinking things, the more clear your mind is, the better you'll be at finding harmony within yourself and what you're doing. Any more questions?
I really liked the way you were describing emptiness and in your mind, and with that concept being related to an infinity. And it reminded me of much you have, right? However big of a number you have, when you compare it to infinity, it's still 0%. Right? Like you can never have a percentage of infinity because it's just such an unfathomable number, right? That it doesn't matter how much you learn, you still have no 0% of everything, right?
Yeah, and I think you can have infinite divisions of one as well. Right? I think in a certain way, that's what the emptiness is zero. Everything is empty. Everything is emptiness. Everything is infinite, and there's infinite divisions within it, and we're like understanding all of those different possibilities through our lives. Some component of that. Well, thank you all for coming out tonight. I really appreciate the questions. We dove right into the deep end with those questions. Heavy topics. I do have a few quick announcements before we all head out. If you'd like to continue your practice and stay connected to the community, you're always welcome to join our Inner Circle program. It's a simple way to stay engaged with the teachings and the Sangha between these events. And you can learn more about it's a membership with benefits on our website. We'll have little like discussion groups, things like that, Zen readings, community events. So if you want to be a part of all that, check it out. And this month, on March 28th, which is next Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m., I'm hosting the Zen writing workshop. So it's I'm going to be teaching some of the techniques I use for channeling writing from a clear mind. So we're going to be doing a lot of meditating and then prompts, maybe prompts like, what is your mind, and writing about that. But it's going to kind of have a progression from just clearing your mind to getting deeper and deeper and deeper into these. So I like to use different activities like writing as a moving meditation. So this is a kind of a deep dive into using writing as a meditation. And if you register by this weekend, you get $10 off the workshop. So if you want to learn more about these programs, visit mindlightway.org for our schedule. We have Dharma Talks, guided meditations, creative art and writing groups as well, and full moon ceremonies, which Nadia is hosting. And we have another new community offering of Bollywood dance every 2 weeks. So if you're interested in that, we're going to be having one of our community members here teach it as a moving meditation. You can find it all on our website or our meetup page, and all of this programming only exists because you choose to support it. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, so if you'd like to leave us a donation, your generosity is greatly appreciated. There's information on how to do that on the back table and in the description on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here tonight and for being part of this community. Love to see you all here. Many repeat visitors. That's what I like to see. Thank you. If you'd like to hang out and chat for a bit, feel free to stick around too.